Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us is Brooks McFeely. He's the founder and CEO of MT Newswires, announcing the global news distribution partner via the Nasdaq Cloud Data Service. Brooks, it's great to have you here with us. Can you tell us a little bit more about MT Newswires and your footprint within the financial services industry?
Sure, yeah, thanks for having us, Jill. So we've been around for about 20 years. MT Newswires, formerly known as Midnight Trader, is an original source global premium financial news service. So we cover the developed capital markets in North America, Europe, and 6 countries in Asia currently. So we are, as I mentioned, original source. So we have reporters around the world producing news essentially 6 days a week, just about around the clock, covering everything from equities, energy, commodities, economic news, Forex, and a number of other asset classes.
All right, so tell us about the Nasdaq partnership that was recently announced.
Yeah, so we're really excited to work with Nasdaq. We've been providing some news to Nasdaq for many years, the Nasdaq.com, but we're very excited about this new partnership that we have. There's a couple components to it. The first is a redistribution component where our global financial news services are available through the Nasdaq Cloud Data Service API. So that's exciting. Now Nasdaq clients can get our news from any region, on any region, essentially again around the clock. So that's great. I'm very excited about working with Nasdaq there. The other piece of our part of our relationship is what we're calling the highlight service. And that's essentially where we're making our newsroom available to Nasdaq listed companies that maybe don't get the following and traction within the investment community, from analysts to media, smaller cap companies typically that are less widely followed and traded. So that we're giving those companies an opportunity to tell us their story. And for those that we feel are newsworthy and noteworthy, certainly happy to give them some coverage and exposure to the both professional and retail investment community, throughout North America and elsewhere as well.
All right, so Brooks, what are you seeing in terms of news demand in times of such uncertainty and volatility in the markets as a result of COVID-19?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we've been around for 20 years, and honestly, you've never seen an environment like this. I know none of us have on many levels, but in particular, the demand for real-time market news, I would say, is far greater now than ever before. Even looking at the closest example, the 2008 financial crisis, demand increased there as well. As volatility in the markets increased, essentially demand for real-time market data and news also tends to increase. But like I said, the global nature of this pandemic and this crisis has increased the demand for real-time information, real-time news globally. So we're seeing a lot more demand out of North America on Asian and European equities and overseas, a lot more demand in Asia in particular and North American markets. So it's quite an unusual time from that perspective.
It certainly is. Has your team experienced any environmental changes in news operations in the last few months?
Not too much. Fortunately, we built ourselves originally 20 years ago as a virtual news organization, essentially. We have headquarters, office, and staff outside of Washington, D.C. But the vast majority of our reporters, work remotely. We're in roughly 11 countries. And so there's been absolutely no changes to the work process and newsroom organization. From that standpoint, our folks have been, somewhat locked down in a way for those 20 years. So fortunately, we're very fortunate, from that perspective.
Yeah, it is quite incredible to see how newsrooms are shifting with this. Brooks, thank you so much for joining us on Trade Talks. Great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.